All right, I have to apologize starting this episode of Around the Mage Table because last week I said this was episode 19. It wasn't episode 19, it was episode 18. Today is episode 19. So when I asked y'all after the podcast, did I say 18 or 19? And y'all said, yeah, I said 18. You guys can go fuck yourself.
I don't remember
Chanee,
that.
you especially... No, I'm joking, Chanee. I love you.
I was like, I don't remember that at all.
How is
Chanee
everyone
didn't say
doing today?
anything.
I'm gonna start with Tekniq. Tekniq, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, buddy.
Good. Glad to hear it. And how about you,
I'm
Scrap?
glad to hear it from his new mic.
Yes, I didn't want to acknowledge it. I just don't want
podcaster.
to give him any more attention that he's already clamoring for
It's
with this new mic.
Elephant in the room.
Scrap, how's Elden Ring going for you? I said I'd give you a chance to give us an Elden Ring update.
I've been playing the DLC, and it's so good, and everybody should play it right now. It's awesome. It's amazing. The bosses are great. It's been kicking my butt, though. So that's what I've been doing this week.
Can I ask, are you lighting candles in your room to de-stress after a...
I always light a candle when this is a candle graveyard here. I have an entire desk just for candles when I play WoW, when I play Elden Ring. Anytime I sit down in this chair, I got a candle going. That's my white girl in me.
Do you save the wax and make your own candles with your
I want
miscellaneous
to.
wax savings?
That seems like a good girly activity. I think I might do that.
Chanee, what's your girly activity of the day?
I went to the gym today.
Nice.
Oh.
You've got a lot going on, man. I know you're opening up your business. I think 2 days from now.
Yeah, grand opening is on Saturday, and
we wish you the best
I'm so
of luck.
excited
Man.
for you, dude.
All right.
I wish I had my own business.
I hope it's already been going well because I know you've been doing soft opens, but
yeah, it's been going well.
Can I ask, are you wearing, because you've worn a BlizzCon hat every episode we've ever done?
Oh,
Yeah.
you have hats, Chanee? I want one of them.
I have hats for my shop, so you know.
Are you gonna send us all a hat?
Yeah, I want a hat.
We'd all wear hats on the podcast if you sent them to us.
If I send you all one, you all wear one. Well,
Yeah.
that's,
I'll wear one.
You know, I'll
not
see what
wearing
I can do. Tekniq does. He's like, I got a full head of, not doing nothing. He's like, I'm gonna eat my popcorn and look at you directly in the eyes.
What an a-hole. So as we jump in, I don't want to jinx ourselves, but I think we might have a quick episode today. There really wasn't a ton of news, right? I'm looking at the clock now. I will eat my words in about, let's say, an hour and 20 minutes. But
You still have that chocolate hat?
I do, yeah.
like-
And we're going to revisit that topic later today because here, we'll just go and jump straight into it. So first things first on the news docket today, War Within, patch 11.0.2, which I believe is supposed to be the official patch of War Within. Now, of course, it will be obviously, hotfixes and everything coming in.
I believe that's a
after
zero.
launch. Sorry?
So I believe that's a zero.
What did I say?
You said O. O is a
Oh.
letter.
He's 3 minutes in. He started. Okay. I wanted to bring this up, not because it's like necessarily newsworthy. It just looks like they're kind of bringing in the missing pieces of the talent trees, I guess, that were missing. But as you brought up, Scrap, me eating my hat, I'm going to go down to Ret Paladin, and if there's any other specs you guys want to look at, we can.
Oh, is this pre-patch?
This is going to be on the retail side as of next Tuesday, the 13th.
Okay, let's take a look at Paladin.
But look, Scrap, they're nerfing. No, actually, there's quite a bit of. Well, there's some nerfs.
No,
and some
they're
buffs in survival.
rearranging. It's not a straight nerf.
They're cleaning up the Arcane Mastery, which I'm looking forward to. I'm not sure if it'll actually affect anything. I'm gonna let the Theory Crafters go. But let's find Ret Paladin and see if they put the talent tree in. So I see a new talent, but I don't see any other talent changes.
Working as intended.
So was I right or was I wrong? Because I mean,
I don't remember
there was
what
a poll. There was a poll that said like unanimously that I was wrong. Right? It was like 80% of people said no. This was them covering their asses. Are they really just hedging their bets and saying no? Fuck everyone else. We're gonna stick to it.
I think at this point they have to. It's like so silly.
Chanee, you're our resident
release, man.
I think they just hate me.
Oh, really?
That's what I figured.
Didn't you,
Yeah,
didn't
they're
you
like,
get
"We're not-"
on pre-patch with us and you're like 505 eye level and you're like crushing?
Yeah, but they still hate me.
Okay.
They're just like, why are we gonna treat? Like, they're like, what are we gonna? do anything.
Frank, there's talent tree adjustments here. Did they just like sneakily put in the talent tree and say, "Oh, we're making a couple adjustments and hope nobody notices"?
Well, we'll see when it launches.
That's what they're gonna do?
I don't. Well, there are some other talent tree things here I just noticed, but
it looks like they're doing a lot of talent tweaks, so it seems weird to tweak the old tree. Here's what I think we're gonna do, and we'll see next week. Is I think they're just gonna quietly put the new tree in and just say, "Oh yeah, we just like tweak." It was already like they're gonna gaslight us. Like,
Chanee,
oh yeah,
you will tell us because I just won't remember or won't notice the difference of the two. If the talent tree changes next week, I will on air eat my hat.
Well,
my chocolate hat.
Technically a couple things have changed.
Yeah, a couple.
Like some talents are no longer default. Couple talents are now 2 points instead of 1, and another talent.
Where are the where 2-point ones? I just noticed it down here at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, they removed Vanguard of Justice.
What is Vanguard of Justice?
What? This is so.
I can remember what it did.
Well, that's why it was removed.
There's no way they're making adjustments to the old talent tree right now, right? Like, they're
no,
gonna put the new one in, and they're making these adjustments to it. There's.
I don't know how much of a change it was though. That's like we're such a bad news source for people. We didn't know what it looked like in the first place.
Come here if you want to hear
the comment section for.
It's like we're moles or something.
What we got wrong.
Look, this is the aura we're trying to like convey. It's like it's 2 hours after the raid has ended. All the normal people have gone to bed. There's just the weirdos who have no life staying up, and they're arguing about World of Warcraft news. They didn't read it. They just heard it from somebody else.
We don't understand it.
Yeah, we don't understand it. But
we don't understand the consequences of it. You know.
Exactly.
Like
so
even my arcane mage, I'll sit there and going like, I think that's a. Remember, I had to do the math. Like, I think that's a buff. I'm not sure. But I do get like go crazy when people just rely on the talking points from someone else. And so I will say that our intent is not to give you those talking points. Our intent is you look at it. Here are idiotic, terrible takes, and go from there.
Hold on. Before we take off from Paladin, can we talk about one thing?
How bad the warrior changes are? Let's see.
No, it scrolls down. Go back up to Paladin, please.
Yep. Oh, shit.
This is, by the way, the shortest of the classes. I can fit it practically on one page.
On one page.
Fury gets
damage increased by 30%.
Can you go back to Paladins right quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Which of the Paladins?
Rhett, whatever one Chanee plays, because I wanted to point out, why did Chanee wait until episode 19 to tell me he hates seeing me eat popcorn on camp?
Listen,
here we are. I eat popcorn every episode.
See, your voice has changed because you chucked a piece in. It's. I know you're chewing and talking at the same time, and it makes me want to stab you and throw.
I don't feel like I've ever heard him talk while he's been chewing though, and now he's doing it on purpose, and I want to fucking strangle him.
That's what he does every week. No,
I said it's fine.
Oh my god!
You know what though? It's you're not in the same room or on the phone with me. It's not quite as bad as in person.
Let's move on to the next topic.
I mean, I can totally accept. We got to throw back down the Warriors. Hold on.
Well, just
there's not much talk.
Just want to see if there's any meta changes right now. I'm not like our mages are climbing a little bit, but I'm not like seeing a ton. The difference between this is last week right here, or I should say 2 weeks ago because we're now officially in a new week, and Rhett is still high up there and actually is the most played class. So them finally getting their talent tree, will that push them higher or not? I don't know. But of course, I'm not going to say the Trinity because there's not 3 of them, but the duinity of Death Knight and Warriors are crushing the top of the meters. It is insane how effortless it looks for some people to play
it's insane how
Fury
many people
and Frost.
We know are suddenly playing Fury and Frost.
Speaking of which, I wanted a status update, Scrap. You've hit 70 on your Frost DK.
Yeah, I hit 70.
How'd that go?
I don't really get it. I've had like 10 people try to yell at me how to play it at the same time. It's really important that like this isn't a key fresh 70 and everybody's yelling at me at the same time what to do. And so far, here's what I've gathered. This is a guide for all the Frost DKs out there. You want to hit Obliterate. If you can hit Obliterate, you want to hit it.
Especially if Rhyme or whatever's active. Not Rhyme, the other one.
I don't know what that is. That's fine.
The color shows up on your screen. Hit it.
Where's Mojo at? Let's get him in here.
Hit buttons that glow. Hit all your cooldowns like a piano at the beginning of a pull, and make sure D&D is down during an AoE. That's it.
Yeah, and
Correct me in
you
the
were
comments.
so
across the cooldown button.
just to
Yep.
give context to the D&D part because it was driving me crazy and I told you not to
Yep.
do this. Was
What?
we would make a
Write it
poll
down.
and you would
Yep.
do D&D as your first spell cast.
Yeah, I've learned
And
that's
so
not
if
right.
I didn't hit anything, it would snap threat to you, which was not too hard to get back on you, but you only had like 400k health. So
well,
you
yeah,
get
because I'm like
one
460 ammo,
shot.
so I'm not thinking I'm a snap threat from you. I thought you might like hit them once and it would help.
I have a question.
Anyway, what's your question?
Is the frost DK damage mostly physical or mostly like cold spell damage?
It's mostly obliterate.
I think
So
it's- yeah, physical.
What,
obliterate
answer the
physical.
question.
it's
Physical.
technically
He didn't hear it.
no. I mean, when you say physical, do you mean like auto attack physical, or do you mean just like
Would it be
Is it magic damage
improved
or-
by attack power or not?
yes? Because
Yeah, it
their
would.
I think their frost damage is improved by their attack power just based on how their class is built.
Oh,
Sounds
really?
right.
So
Yeah, like you if you
What
got
then-
spell gear, you wouldn't be putting it on as any
So-
melee
You wouldn't be
class.
putting on int gear.
So a lot of like big time boys are projecting like similar,
You're gonna have to be more specific than big time boys.
Yeah,
what the
what's
fuck
the-
are you
big time
talking about?
podcasters,
You told
big
me.
time
Okay,
WoW
so the
people,
YouTubers
WoW
out
head and
there,
whatnot.
yeah.
Yeah, big time
Okay.
YouTubers. They're all kind of projecting that the meta is going to be kind of the same as far as like your dungeon. You're going to have like an AUG, maybe a priest and a mage, and either a like a druid tank or a VDH still, and
All right, I'm quoting
some
that.
healer, right? That's what a lot of
Mhm.
people are projecting. So what would be the perfect melee group? And I have to tank.
3
Well,
melee.
So the warrior
hold
tank
on,
is
hold
there.
on, hold on. First off, I think this is gonna be a very melee unfriendly expansion.
Which is crazy because
Looking at the
top 5
DPS right
stats
here.
now, yeah.
This is not an
You know.
indication of what War Within will look like. Not only do you have hero talents missing, but they've also balanced the game where all the stats that you would want at the end of an expansion are benefiting you now. But the second we start over, those stats are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's do this little project anyway.
Perfect group is enhancement shaman, ret, and
Or would it be a healing shaman?
Okay, well
No,
here, let's go on and transition to the next topic of the MetaMeta for this week. So this is as of updated as of yesterday. And I apologize to everyone. We would have had our episode uploaded Thursday for everyone. But we have hurricanes over here in the East Coast.
Yeah, tornadoes too.
Yeah. I lost power yesterday. Scrap is at threat of losing power today.
I think I'm
Um,
in out of the woods now because it stopped raining, but
Yeah.
I was worried earlier.
But our big takeaways of notes from this, augmentation has dropped. Now the sole winner right now is Arcane. I did
Wait,
hear
is that that can't be right?
it is. Well, scrap. In fairness, I didn't make this. Remember, this is just an aggregation. The MetaMeta
kinda
is just
saucy.
all the scores added together. We have a lot more tier lists coming out. Even Tettle's put one out. And of course, everyone's now caveating it like, hey, there's still balancing going on. We'll talk about that in a second. But AUG did drop down a little bit. Our biggest losers of the week were Preservation, who last week I think jumped 10 spots, have now back down to 8 spots below where they were last week. Blood and Guardian both dropped 6 spots. So they are
Wow.
currently the losers of the tank world. Prop Pally jumped 7 spots. Now, in fairness, they were like second to last week. So they're in the B tier right now, but it is a big jump up for them. I'm still hearing they are the worst of the tanks, though, so I'm not going to get excited. Although people seem to be ranking Brew lower. Destruction Warlocks have climbed 13 spots. I just leveled my Warlock to 70. I hated playing it. I don't know why anyone likes that spec.
Wait, why is that? Did it get buffs or
It's
something?
called destruction, dude. Of course it's going to do well.
Well, actually, I leveled as Demonology just because I didn't know any better, but whatever. By the way, the event
Prot
is
Warrior
actually
is-
a lot better now to do leveling. I did 50 to 70 in like a lunch hour.
So Prot
Yeah.
Warrior and Blood DK are both. Oh, and Guardian
Yeah, so you
are
got
all
the
like okay.
Rock, Blood, Guardian, Bruise down here. Where's Vengeance is in B tier.
That doesn't seem right. I think most people are projecting that Vengeance is still
This
going
isn't
to
a
be number
projection.
one.
This is
I disagree. I think Vengeance is dead, but
okay.
I think Dorky
I'm-
saying it doesn't
I
mean
hope
it's
so.
true. But I like this. If we were to say, okay, to answer your question, Tekniq, what would the ideal melee meta be? According to this, it'd be Unholy, Frost, and Ret.
But you wouldn't want 2 Death Knights, so pick
Nah,
one.
you'd probably want a monk there. Is that what's that
Right.
lion face monk icon? Is that a Windwalker?
Windwalker is there right here.
Windwalker, yeah.
Yeah, put a Windwalker, put a rat,
Why? But why?
because they make physical damage buff. A little
I'm thinking-
fucking palm.
Well, if you have your Vengeance Demon Hunter, don't. No, they do just I think overall damage.
They do spell
thinking,
damage.
like-
Vengeance Demon Hunter spell damage. Go
I
ahead,
still
Chanee.
think like rat enhancement and unholy, and then like
For a key, I think that would be good.
So
yeah, and
do
This-
Resto Shamans get the buff though? Don't
Yes.
they
The
get
Windwalker
the
totem, yeah, they do now.
yeah? So you don't need enhancement anymore.
Why are you
Nah.
building this melee group? By the way,
I don't know.
yeah,
Why are you
some
building a
antler.
melee group?
Prot warrior, bro.
what the?
So why do you want a melee group? Why do you want everybody standing on top of you?
I have battle shout.
Okay, cool.
Plus, Resto Shamans love a melee group.
Doesn't BM hunters get attack power like benefit?
Yeah. Yeah.
So take one of them. You have a ranged class.
Or a survival.
Yeah, that's another melee class.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
Oh my
saying.
As
God.
somebody who runs with an all melee group pretty frequently, it sucks ass.
It's
Having
stupid.
everybody standing
Shaman-
on top of each other is so bad for so many mechanics.
Musham would love to heal that. Let's pull Musham in here now.
Yeah, when we were rolling with an evoker healer, it's pretty sweet because it's like, where is
Our-
everybody standing? It's like right in front of the dragon.
Our biggest climber is Frost Mage, by the way, 10 spots. I only wanted to say that because I have heard that Mage will be part of the meta in one way or another. I don't think it'll be Fire. I'm seeing Fire slowly getting nerfed while the
Where-
others...
I mean, mind you, I haven't done a ton of pugs or any pugs recently, but where are these arcane
Zero.
mages? Has anybody seen any arcane mages? Like,
I don't even
how
know
are
any
they-
arcane
Scrap.
mages.
Well, first off, yes, I have. However, they're being
Okay,
played by
well, you
people who've
have.
never played Arcane. And so they're
Yeah.
not doing well. Which is, I mean, again, this goes back to our meta argument in the first place, right? Same thing with Shadow
Yep.
Priests that we've seen. I can't wait till we build our new tier list. Oh, God.
you
but-
gotta
but-
ways for that.
No, so that's a topic I'm going to lean into in a second here. But yes, there are, like, I've even seen a ton of mages while I've been leveling. They're all playing Arcane because they want to learn it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Arcane is still going to be good enough for M plus necessarily, or to
Didn't
say
they
it's
roll
meta
out-
for M plus.
Didn't they roll out nerfs last week for the beta?
They,
Or misremembering.
I don't know if it was an overall nerf. It was like a lot of buffs and
Okay.
nerfs.
It
Like
was
they buffed mastery,
readjustments.
but they like nerfed the spells as a result.
Okay.
So I don't know how it directly impacted it. The thing is, and we'll talk about this in, later in the day too. The class discords sometimes are just so, like, they're not good to read because people are just always adding their opinion, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything, right?
Mhm.
Someone just sounds confident enough to say that was a 10% buff. It's like Twitch chat too. Like people will sit there and go like, yeah, this is a 20% buff. And they're like, well, what are you basing that off of? And it's like they're pulling that information out of their ass, right?
It's like podcasts we will or won't name. Just
But-
pull information out of that.
But yeah, we're the ones that will do it, but at least we'll acknowledge we're assholes.
Yeah, we acknowledge it.
But like Frost, I think would be the one that I expect to see in
Yeah.
the meta groups. Frost,
Frost is very like everybody friendly. You can pick it up, you can put it down. It's not super hard to learn, as I understand it. So that
Well,
one is
I-
always being very well played.
Shawnee.
I leveled my Frost Mage, and I hated it, like, to 60, and didn't play it for a long time. And then last week I leveled it from 67. I had so much fun with it. I'm like, oh, I kind of like this.
Well, and it
Yes.
like if you have a tank that knows what they're doing to support you, it is a lot of fun.
So I could see why people would like Frost. I found it. I did Arcane for a while, and I hated Arcane. I'm like, I felt like I needed a protractor or something to play that.
No, you just need to count to 4.
What?
Actually, the count
Protractor.
to
Yeah,
4
count to
meta,
4.
the count to 4 meta is gone, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Um,
wasn't a fan. But Frost is like, this is dope.
What I wanted to talk about, though, after we talked about all these little details, was a topic I've heard Max talk about quite a few times now on stream and on the Potty C, is we are 2.5 weeks away, maybe 2 weeks as of
Yeah.
today, from launch of the expansion. And I'm not worried about the tuning. I really do think that they'll have it pretty much locked down. Excuse me. And not only that, but they have 3 weeks to do it before the season starts as well.
Yeah, they have extra time.
Yeah, but I'm curious if you guys are hyped.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
super hyped.
Hyped more than
I
you would be
so-
for Dragonflight or Shadowlands or any of the other expansions?
Yeah, I am. Warbands have me really hyped. Just the idea of like a lot. Like, I've been leveling characters just so I could have one of everything.
Yeah, I've got one of everything now too.
So
I wouldn't say I'm more hyped for this one than other ones. I mean, I think I have equal hype for every expansion. Like I love leveling. I love new story, new zones, new music, new stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. It could be terrible. That's fine.
I don't think it will be.
I want to see it. It probably won't be. I think they have a pretty good standard, or at least up till now they've held a really good standard for like what they launch. Like the content that's important to me is not stuff that you can like patch. A lot of times it's like is the art good? Is the music good? Is the story decent? You know. So that's the stuff I'm looking forward to. All the tuning and stuff, they'll tune it. They're not gonna leave it untuned for a significant amount of time. Like what, you lose a week to some terribly tuned shit? Okay, relax.
While you're
Go
gathering
outside.
gear anyway, so it could be irrelevant. Because,
Yeah.
like, I mean,
Yeah.
this
chill,
season when
take
I was
a week
leveling my
off. A lot less.
arcane mage, I didn't do well at all. Like, I was so depressed, and then I got like the one trinket, and it was, switched on immediately.
A lot
I
less
definitely
worried
don't
about
look
the
forward to that.
tuning than
Who
I'm
cares
not
about
worried about it.
tuning?
I want the zones to be cool. I want
Yeah.
the quests to be cool. I want the story to be cool.
I want
Now,
Based on what you're
I'm not-
seeing out of the marketing, do you think you're getting that?
Big question mark there, dude. The marketing hasn't done shit for that. It's just really kind of told us that Anduin's kind of a baby, Thrall's his new daddy, Zalatas a baddie, and Azeroth's talking to people. That's all we know.
I agree. I feel like they've marketed it poorly because it's like I still know fuck all about, like, okay, I kind of get the idea that Zalatas gonna be a big deal. There's gonna be spiders and stuff, but there's not a good. I don't know. I still really feel like I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm okay with that.
I like that.
I'm okay with a little bit of mystery,
Yeah.
and I'm
Okay.
kind of okay with that. What I'm saying is we don't really know what to expect from the quest line, from the story, from any of that.
Yeah.
What I don't want is a bunch of our, and I'm just going to put this out there to be controversial. I'm sick of
No.
our male heroes being pussies,
Oh my god.
and then we're going to like lean on.
All
and
right,
it's
everyone go
okay,
get a
I'm
water.
just
We're gonna be
saying.
here for an hour.
Yeah. Okay.
just
So
saying,
so much for
you
the
know,
short episode. Okay,
Thrall doesn't
let's
fight
unpack
anymore.
this. Let's unpack this. Okay,
Let's unpack
I want to
this.
give you a chance to
Emasculating our
explain.
heroes.
I want to give you a chance to explain what the fuck you're talking about.
Before he does,
and yeah, I was
I'm
gonna say before he does, Chanee, do you want to add something else? I was gonna ask Scrap a question too.
well, oddly enough, what I'm most excited about is that their 10-year plan. They're like 3 expansions, going to wrap everything up. I'm oddly enough not wishing the time away, but I'm really excited to see like what happens after that.
Yep.
Like them saying this is their 10-year plan. In my head, I'm like, oh, I'm playing WoW for another 10 years because I want to see what they do after that. Like
I can't wait to go to the Sunwell.
Yeah.
Like if they do some kind of crazy big like cataclysm thing again and reshape WoW again. If there's like, yep, we're done with WoW and they make WoW 2, or I don't know.
They won't. They will never
like,
need to.
I know, but I'm saying.
Get another hat
anyway.
ready for 10 years from now.
No, why would they make a WoW 2 that just like
who knows?
No, like just take the
10
WoW
years is a
engine
long
and say,
time.
hey, okay, so now WoW 13.0 or whatever's coming out, we are going to absolutely slam a new engine onto it. You know? That would be what they do, not WoW 2.
Well, okay, sure. Whatever you want to call it. Sure, just ruin my dreams. It was just one of the possibilities, Frank.
That'd be great.
It's a stupid. No, I'm joking. I love you.
There's a lot of talk about an actual Classic Plus happening. You following that story?
Okay, well, hold on. Don't divert from what you've just dropped the bomb on.
I want to hear
anyway,
about
now we can go to Lithium's.
It's not a bomb. It's an opinion.
My question was going to be
as controversial as you're making it.
How have they been treating women heroes? And I use the word heroes because they've been turned into other things. So I want to hear your opinion on women in
a lot
WoW.
of times. I will say that their storytelling has gotten more progressive. I think all video game storytelling has, because that's the direction a younger audience wants to see for the most part. Not entirely sure. I mean, we have things like Gamergate for a reason. Like, there's definitely some people who don't like progressive things being shoved into their games, right? That said, like, you can't just like do surface level progressive storytelling like, oh, there's like gay centaurs now, aren't we fantastic, or whatever. Like, when every fucking female character you have turns into a psycho bitch for no reason. Like, can we really get to the root of that? Like, somebody has some serious like mom issues.
Yeah, like why does Sylvanas get to be the hero and the baddie? Why?
She's okay. So don't even get me started on Sylvanas. Sylvanas, they were picturing during they were pitching during BFA as a morally gray character who does like genocide and
Kills
is just
millions.
like she's like the most evil fucking character on the planet. And it's like there was a time when Sylvanas was a very well written morally great character. She, you know, she was a character who endured abuse and like went through this horrible shit, and so she came out kind of like a little bit nasty and like a little bit fighting for her own people and stuff. And maybe she'll throw some orcs under the bus, definitely throw some humans under the bus on the road, but she wasn't just like a black hat mustache twiddling villain until BFA. And then they were like, okay, we need to like retcon why she's so evil and she was corrupted by the jailer or something. But the corruption story is not unique to female. I mean, they do it with male characters too. Like there's like guy who's so good and then he becomes so evil from corruption. I mean, we got Arthas, we got
or not Rathian, Neltharis.
Neltharion. Yeah, no, like that's a constant thing, but it is annoying like when it's like, okay, we had Sylvanas' crazy arc. Jaina has to have a crazy arc. Like, okay, now
even as she's
Tyrande
being the
needs to
hero,
have-
she's kind of going like a little crazy.
Yeah. Tyrande needs to have a crazy arc. And it's like, okay, Illyria, I wonder what they're gonna do with Illyria.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Will
I was
she
gonna bring
get
up Illyria.
void
fucking God, fucking
covered?
help me, dude. At least, you know what? I'll give Dragonflight some credit. They didn't do it with Alexstrasza, and I was really thinking
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, I'll give it not yet. But I really was feeling that's where it was gonna go. Because she's exactly the type.
What's the name of the ice dragon woman, the one that switched sides?
I don't even know because she like was such a minor
Verstraza or something like
player.
that. Anyways, I also felt like it was seen from a mile away, in my opinion, that she was going to switch sides just because she was like the sister of the brothers,
the
brothers, right? And it's like, oh, she's a girl, she can't see it. No, like, I mean, not to say that is a fair assessment of any storytelling of that sort, but like, I don't know. I just felt like they took the lazy way of like, yeah, of course the sister's going to be the one that sees the good in what or the bad in what they're doing and not wanting to do that.
Let me shout out, just because I'm talking shit about how they write female characters. There are some female characters that I like the writing of. Unfortunately, they're not super center spotlight. I love the writing of Talanji and BFA.
I was about to say the same thing.
She was awesome. Her storyline through and through was fantastic. You've not done the Horde BFA storyline. I think it's way better than the Alliance one, and I've done both. Because Talanji is just like a really cool character.
What about Kalia Menethil?
I hate Kalia Menethil. Oh my god! Don't start me on that. No, I'm shouting out the ones I like.
Okay. By the way, I want to interject something before I forget to say it. I'm sorry, Scrap.
Yeah. No, go on.
I didn't say anything.
I'll leave it at that.
I didn't start this conversation saying anything about the women characters in the game or their story or their arcs. I'm saying what happened to male heroes being masculine male heroes? Like, why can't we have any of those in the game anymore?
Wait, hold on. He's going to lead you into there. He's saying, what's the state of female characters to the girl? And he's going to say to you, what's the state of male characters?
I'm not suggesting that you're complaining that because female characters are getting the spotlight. I'm not suggesting that because female characters are getting written X, Y, and Z. I just wanted to set up the fact that there have been complaints about the way the females have been treated in the storyline. And only to allow you to, so hypothesis, the male characters... And you're saying characters, right?
Have been mostly about Thrall and Anduin, mostly
so
here.
Thrall and Anduin,
key heroes. Yeah.
How has Thrall been pussified? Thrall's
he hasn't been active at all. He's been sitting on his ass.
He has a family. What's more masculine than raising a family?
He's been literally sitting in town all through Shadowlands and Dragonflight.
Every single hero was sitting in town in Shadowlands.
Yeah, I was gonna say
No.
Did you see what they did to what's his name? The Tauren leader, Banehoof?
Bane
Bloodhoof. What they did to him? I didn't do the quest where
they made him like literally go mute. He just sat in the corner like dead.
Bane's got a they don't really know what everyone's doing with Bane.
Yeah, and then they give him a story where he gets to be a total badass.
Anyway, okay, so where were you going with this? Where were you going?
That's the question I have for you, sir. Where are you going with this?
Yeah, where are you going?
Anduin's suffering from PTSD from doing something that they show was pretty bad, right? Thrall murders tons of people of his own ancestry from Draenor and Mak'garax or whatever. His not Sourfang. Now I remember Sourfang's. Garrosh is.
It's the only time.
That Garrosh is, and people accuse him of cheating, and the elements aren't answering to him. Which that is something you could at least say. Well, what was the language you used? That he's weak or
Pussified.
Pussified.
Did he use that word? I didn't want to use it again unless he used
He
it in front of
said it.
us.
I don't even know. Can you say that on YouTube
Who
or
knows?
not?
If we get a
That's not even a
strike, I'm
word.
just gonna email it to Tekniq and say this is your doing. We
Okay,
got
if you
canceled
say-
on YouTube because of you.
You say pussy 20 times, it gets demonetized or whatever. Not that it's monetized anyway.
We don't
but-
have enough viewers to even
so
to
we can
make
say
the
whatever
radar.
the fuck we want.
Yeah,
Go on. I
no,
want to
no
hear.
one's scanning our AI. All right,
Stop derailing it, Frank. I want to hear. I went on my
I'm giving him
rant
time to
about
just think
female
about what the fuck
characters.
he's gonna say.
Let's hear
I mean, I
Tekniq's
didn't-
rant about male characters.
I'm just hoping that we can lean into these two characters and give them some story that actually is positive and helps them to like get back into their state of being a hero and not just someone that needs to be rescued.
But aren't
that's
people
all-
Andrew
that's
more
all I'm
does
getting
complex
at.
than
kidnapped a
that?
lot.
Don't you
What?
want complexity to a character? Like it's more complex than just being a hero.
There can be complexity in the story without making Anduin a crybaby and Thrall an old man.
I
Like
But that's what
like
they are. Like,
but even beyond that, because like I think saying someone's a crybaby for what they went through is like so undermining of what trauma actually is.
no. Can I weigh in on this, Frank?
Sure.
I also
Why
feel
not
like
scrap?
I know. I'm sorry. I have a lot of
shouldn't
opinions on
he
this.
shouldn't he be a little angry and like
No.
wanna like
Tekniq.
get back?
They didn't pussify Anduin. He was always a pussy.
Stop using
He's
that word.
always
That's
getting,
true.
he was always getting kidnapped. He
We're
was
gonna
a
get flagged.
priest. Like he was a kid. He was a baby. He's got daddy issues.
He's
and stuff.
young.
He didn't thrust this on him. This has always been his thing. This is what I wish they did for female characters. Is like they have male characters that aren't like it's all male characters aren't a monolith in WoW. Like Anduin, it's like he goes through stuff and he feels it, and it's tough. He keeps getting
What a
kidnapped.
baby.
Yeah, it's okay,
Even
but
if
it's,
you go
it's
back
okay
to
to
the-
have characters who are like that.
Even
And
if you go
Thrall
back
is
to the
not a pussy.
BFA cinematic where he's fighting at the gates of Undercity and he reses everyone, right? Remember he
he's
throws
so cool.
his sword down and he just like lifts to the sky and he's like crying in the middle of
Yeah,
it, right?
He
like,
is.
I wish
it's
like,
there
hard.
that's
was
his
any
character.
Is there any cinematic where he's not rolling tears down his cheeks?
But I don't know what your issue is because they didn't make him a pussy. That's just like they can't
Oh,
have a
he's been
character
that
who's
way.
sensitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not to mention he's only one of countless male characters.
And he's a kid. Yeah, he's one, and Thrall is not that. I
And
will back up
Dadgar's running
Thrall.
around and
Thrall's
you don't care that he's being the best
I love-
father of the entire
I do-
world.
I do love Khadgar, dude. I'd
Khadgar's
love
a
to see.
pussy.
I'd love to see him like get in and just actually do some
I'm
damage.
calling right now. Tekniq's gonna cry when he finds out what happens to Khadgar.
Can
No,
he
what
do
happens-
more
He's
than
gonna
just
cry
board
like
us
a little
around
baby.
and put bubbles on us?
Tekniq wants Rambo to be our next hero.
Yeah.
He was really
No,
upset with
I actually hate
who's
the
it,
Rambo
Caligos,
movies.
that was eating soup.
Oh my god, I love Caligos.
The
And
new ones.
Caligos
The new ones.
is a totally wooby male character, but I love him. Oh my god.
All right, enough of that. Okay.
Enough of that.
Um,
Wait, was that Tekniq? You want to put a bow on that, or was that the whole point? What do you want
I
them to
just-
do that's masculine?
I'm just hoping they get into the combat.
He
and
wants
lead
to
us
see
victory.
rage. That's what he wants
You
to
want to see
is
them
rage.
fighting, like kicking ass?
Yeah. Thrall
Okay, I
really
do
didn't
too.
shit last expansion or the one before. Like
Thrall was
Dragonflight,
tired, dude.
Shadowlands.
What does that have
He's
to
like-
do with him being
He's like, find me an axe. You find it, and then he's like, whoa, I gotta sit down, and then he sits down the entire rest of the expansion.
It's fine.
Wow.
Oh my
It's
god.
like,
Thrall slander.
these are the heroes.
well-
these are the heroes that everyone fell in love with. That makes us like these. This is
Sure.
why we play
No
the
one's
game for
arguing
a lot of
against
people.
that. But
And-
the language
and,
you're
like-
using is suggesting that they've been like masculinated. I don't
Emasculated.
know. Yeah.
They've been set aside so that Blizzard
what does that have to
can
do with them
follow their
being-
agenda.
And quote
Okay.
unquote pussies.
Do I have to
Not
spell
to
it
mention,
out?
not to mention.
No.
I should point out Tekniq so you get your hopes dashed already. Thrall is not a big part of at least the first season of content. He is there, but he's not really doing much. That's one of the complaints. Is that
Typical
it feels
bait
like
and
an
switch. We're
alliance.
gonna have a cinematic with Thrall and Anduin, and then we're gonna play the game, and it's gonna be
Magni.
a bunch of chicks running the game.
Magni
dude.
being a big
Bunch
baby
of
about
chicks running
Azeroth
the
not
game.
talking to him.
Historically,
What a
WoW
baby.
stories are a bunch of
Was he
chicks
crying
because
because his family doesn't love him?
All right, now I'm just feeding into the hate here. I hope
Okay.
everyone
No,
hates
no,
me a
there's-
lot.
No hate. I'm just trying to understand. I feel like you're not wrong.
love
These
this.
characters are showing sensitivity and stuff, but I don't know what you want them to do. You want them to kick ass. You want to
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wants Jim Raynor from StarCraft is what he wants.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I
I
mean-
want the Horde and Alliance to not be in love anymore. I want them to have
I'm
some
down with
beef.
that.
You know, I
I'm
wanna
down
have-
with a resurgent beef.
Yeah.
Jesus, we haven't even made one expansion, and they want the beef
It would be
back.
so funny if at the end of this expansion there was like mega beef and they were fighting again, and they're like all the cross faction guilds no more. Like they
That's
just took
right.
it away.
We're
And,
taking
like,
them away.
It's on site now. You guys have to
Give you
fight on
give
site.
you like a one-time free faction change for your main characters. Just
Oh my
you
god.
know,
Yeah. Yeah,
That'd be horrible.
That'd be sick as shit. It'd be great.
All right.
that'd be cool.
Oh, what's next?
So
Short episode.
speaking
Frank.
speaking of marketing, we had our first.
Okay.
You know, these are called I think 2.5D.
Oh
no,
yeah.
I'm not gonna say cinematics.
There
right?
she is.
Right.
There she is.
But has everyone watched it? I don't want to spoil or anything like that.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Now
Play the thing.
it looks. I'll play it, but I'm gonna mute it. And you know, not to say that anyone's going to say that we didn't watch it while we were talking when I said I wouldn't watch it. So I'm gonna play it and be happy about it. But anyways,
I do love these. The
they
kind
look
of
really good
animatics.
for being, you know, static, I guess, because they do like such clever things with.
It's like a very cleaned up animatic, like
Yeah.
which is cool. It's a cool way to present story, and I love that they do this. I think this is one of the best things in modern WoW.
I do too. I wish they would kind of recap like a lot of the lore this way, like more of it.
This way, that would be cool. I mean, they did like the Warbringers. Was that in BFA or was it?
Well,
in
they're called something every expansion, like, you
Shadowlands.
know, like the Deathbringers, the Warbringers, the
Warbringers.
you know,
Yeah, but I did
Shadowbringers.
like how they're like, hey, this is Ashara's backstory.
By the
Like
way, really
that's
cool
perfect.
spell here.
This is Sylvanas' backstory or whatever. So
Yeah.
those are great.
But do you think, like, okay, so this looked great, and I think the story was
it's
told
great.
well. But do you did you grow caring at all about who this last Queen Ansurek is going to be? Like, did it really
No.
change how you felt about, like, oh, now I feel empathy, or oh, now I feel fear?
I was talking about this earlier. You know, when we see Nerubians in WoW, they're always evil. Like, there's not a lot of good Nerubians, and it's because they're either like undead, like we see in like Northrend and stuff,
Mhm.
or they're like corrupted by old gods. I think I'm a little bit iffy on Nerubian lore and stuff, but I'm pretty sure they're never good guys in current WoW content. But we know that like they're not, you know, born evil, so to say. So I like this story that they're presenting because they're like, oh, like they weren't born evil. Look, they had like this cool empire and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, but then they get corrupted. So, I know I'm going back on what I said before, but I like that they're actually showing that it's like, hey, just because they're Spartan people doesn't mean they're evil. Yeah, they're gonna be evil in this expansion, but it's because they're corrupted. It's fine.
Well,
So,
it's because
I'm
of
hoping we
like
have-
how
yeah.
all the Black Drakes got corrupted. You know, how many things
Yeah,
have gotten corrupted?
they lean way too hard on the corruption storyline, but
I
I
was
think
gonna
it's
say.
I like in this animact that they're showing, hey, like Nerubians are like just another race, whether or not that ends up being present as a story device in War Within. I'd be very interested to see. But I think it's cool that they're like kind of opening it up as like, hey, they have like this awesome empire and stuff, and you know.
How
then
about
here
this
she
for an
comes.
introduction though, where she just climbs out of the wall like Spider-Man, you know, flowing voidy dress.
She's cool. I think she's okay. I don't know. I think Zaltath's kind of mid.
Really?
I think Xalatath is too, because I don't pay enough attention to the lore. I think Xalatath's a little bit mid, but after watching that one video with Tellius and blah blah blah,
Tyler's
Oh.
another tail.
yeah, whatever. I think that she's got like I don't know. It makes me almost want to go back and like just learn a little bit more about her because she's been around for quite a while. And
Yeah.
I might be wrong, and you can correct
And
me.
she's-
Technique. You go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say like I don't know. Do we know what her true form is? Because there's some points where she's like, oh, I haven't been in a human or a human body in a while,
She's
or
definitely
an
like
elf body.
octopus void monster, probably.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
is she
This
like
is the
a
void elf she took over in one of
Yeah.
the quest lines
Yeah.
for BFA.
But
So
what's her normal form? Is
We
gonna
don't
be the
know.
question.
We don't know.
why
I
think
like
she's
the
a bit
idea of
mid-
her body decaying though over time.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I like the idea. I love old gods in the story just because they're like mega evil, like just kind of like this evil entity.
Evil pure,
Now-
right?
Yeah, pure evil. Yeah. Now, them walking around like individual characters, I'm not so interested. I'm more interested in the concept because it's
Yeah.
like, as a character, Xalatath, we just know she just is a void creature. Like she's got no humanity in her. So
Yeah.
I think you can't go very far with that story unless like they pull in like she does have some level of humanity in her. I don't think that's in any direction they're gonna go. But as a villain, like as an individual villain, I don't have a lot of interest in characters who are just like mega evil with no nuance to them, which is,
And
I mean,
I'd like to see. I'm kind of
cool,
sad
but-
that we're not going to have like dragon baddies anymore.
yeah, I know. I said that before. Is that like the best raid bosses are like a big fucking dragon? Like I
Yeah.
loved Razageth, dude, and even Farok. Like when he was dragon form, like it's so satisfying to kill a big fucking dragon. Sarkareth didn't do it for
I
me.
wish
He's just a little
Yeah,
guy.
he didn't. Yeah, I
Doesn't
honestly
do it for
wish
me.
that more of the dragon fights had your more traditional dragon fight concerns, things like
There were a lot
tail
of
swipes
dragon.
and stuff like that. That
Yeah.
like it was
It's just,
so important.
I think it's boring though if you keep those as mechanics
Even-
because you
even
like
if
lock
they-
down half of the other mechanics you can do.
No, I just mean like even if like they made it not that big a deal, I think if you get hit by the tail, it should like knock you around or something, and it just doesn't. You know,
Yeah.
that's all. That's
Yeah.
just a dumb opinion.
I think it was
No,
fine.
I can
but
get it, but
other raid fights I love is I love a fucking old god. So I'm hoping the last boss at the end of this expansion is another old god. You know, like the fabled one that we didn't kill yet.
yeah, I don't think we'll see that so soon. I think they've now they've built
Oh,
this
come on now.
void thing
Maybe
that they
it'll be
could
Anduin.
literally keep playing it over and over again until the old god comes in. We'll have, I mean, hell, Zaltath's full form might be enough to get us
That'd be
pumped.
cool. If she's old god-esque, like if she's got a bunch of tentacles and eyes and
Well, she's
teeth and
supposed to be-
stuff, I'm down.
She's
I'll
supposed to be
kill
like
her.
a
That's awesome.
void princess or something like that, right? Isn't
That's
that what
phase
they
2 scrap. When
I
we're
wanna
fighting
see-
her phase 2, she transforms into this big
we
tentacle
rip
thing.
open
Dude.
her body and she's like,
Hot
fuck,
Void
and gets out.
Elf is cool and
All
stuff,
right, now
but
I'm into it. I'm into
I
it.
want a
Rip the
giant
body
thing.
open.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally down. Like, if we're gonna be killing Zalatath, I want her to explode into a giant fucking monster because, like, trying to kill a tiny hot void elf is like sucks.
Into her true form.
No, she's got to
Yeah,
turn
true
into like
form,
a
please.
tentacle, fucking giant
Fill
void
the whole room,
monster
yeah.
with blood that's purple and.
and eyeballs and yeah, these are
Yeah.
things that are important to me when I'm playing WoW. When I'm raiding, I'm thinking like, what bosses are good. Their size and how nasty they look is actually a huge factor for me. So
Yeah, they gotta be big.
Who do you think will be the next 2.5D, the next Harbinger's cinematic? Do you think it'll be more of
Harbinger?
Zaltath?
Harbinger. It's Harbinger.
Well, I'm saying
Yeah.
Harbinger because I say that because like they name the movies something, right? Like they name it.
Harbinger.
It's definitely Harbinger.
No. Anyways,
You're talking about Hardbringer.
I'm talking
That's
about
from
the
a
name of
different
the
set
styles of
videos.
movies, right? Like the Scrap, you said it earlier. What was the name of the ones in like BFA?
Warbringers.
Warbringer, right? So I was
Yeah.
saying that as a play.
Harbinger.
But anyways,
Okay, I see. You're so
it didn't
nutty.
land. That's fine. But what I wanted to say is, who do you think is next? Because
Can I say who I want it to be?
yeah, who do you want it to be?
I want that Halifal lady with one arm because I think she looks so cool. I want to know about her.
There's
I think-
much to that story too, because I feel like she is the key to what WoW 2.0 would look like, Chanee.
Do we know it's a she or is it a they? First of all, and then secondly,
God.
Tekniq, I don't want this right now.
Oh my god.
and then secondly,
I'm gonna have to
it'd
edit
be
this
cool as
episode.
shit. It'd be cool as shit
Can we leave
if,
that in?
if our one-armed paladin person from Diablo somehow just had such a massive army of Diablo paladins, Templars, excuse me,
What?
that
She does have a massive
the
army.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Maybe
It's like, oh my god,
our
they're reading my
one-armed-
mind.
our
Okay.
one-armed person brings their army to attack Azeroth from Diablo, the sanctuary,
Eh.
and we have
Can
to
I-
fight
I'm getting
all these
angry.
I personally don't
What
think
the
there's
fuck are
anything-
you talking about?
I don't think there's anything wrong with her being
just
Diablo
reporting
vibes. I think
just
it's
reporting
cool.
back to our cinematic with all the Diablo vibes.
I want to say what's most hilarious to all of this right now is that I saw someone else's video saying, "Oh, Diablo's in World of Warcraft now."
Yeah,
Because of the cinematic.
complaint of
I
the
saw,
cinematic,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "That's hilarious." That's what Tekniq said. So They're on
No,
your side,
do you guys
Tekniq,
want to
the
do
internet.
you want a quick rundown on her backstory slash?
Actually, if we
what
could
could be
also
the-
get some Zerg in here, that'd be sick.
No, I'll wait for the video. Right.
Okay. So that being said, this is part of the marketing lead up. They had that YouTube thing we talked about last week where they kind of just spliced
Yep.
into a whole bunch of paid promotions into YouTube videos. You know, the cinematics, they've been, you know, I think good, even if you don't like the style of it, because I get it, you want like that big epic sky shattering and is Sylvanas going to put the Helm of Domination on kind of thing. But I still think they look and hype me up, right?
I stand by it's better than the Dragonflight one.
Yeah.
Dragonflight one sucks.
But again, but earlier you said you felt like the hype machine wasn't in motion because like they're just not. Is it Xalatath that's the problem?
No. Now the cinematics are coming out, like, and this has come out, and like the recap cinematic, that when you log into WoW, they give you the recap. Those are kind of fueling my hype machine a little bit. Like, I'm definitely interested, personally. I kind of wish there was more. I don't remember if the Warbringers, because there were like a lot of Warbringers episodes, weren't there?
3. They're usually 3.
Oh, there were 3.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's 2 weeks left to the expansion. Are they gonna?
Well, so okay, that was my next question.
Yeah.
Where is this week's in-game story?
Oh,
we had week 1 with the Radiant Echoes event, right? Where Magni passes out, which was, by the way, fairly short. We just went and saw Magni try to talk, and then he fell asleep. And then well, not only that, but one of the quests was go get his kids and go get the family or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you know what? That's fine. They're drip feeding us the story. But then there was nothing this week. What's that all about?
It's working as intended, Frank? I think.
No, that is intended. But my question to the intended is, what? You know, like, I don't know. That's
hoping
kind of
to God, dude. I'm feeling the same thing you are, because they release all this pre-patch content, and you really, like, to me, and I said this last time, with pre-patch content, man, I'm like wanting to save. I'm wanting to start saving the world. I'm wanting to like really get pumped
or feel the stakes of the world ending.
Or yeah, like, oh shit, like there's a big problem. We got to come together as a Azeroth or whatever and like go and do this. And there's none of that.
I mean, correct me. Oh, sorry.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that week 1 of the patch, since we're gonna have a whole month before Mythic Plus, I said patch, I meant expansion.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that there's some meaningful things to do.
Yeah.
That's all.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Dragonflight pre-patch, we had the Drakthir and the whole Drakthir storyline and the whole Forbidden Isle and everything as a zone to check out and introduce you to the
leveling
plot.
experience for Drakthir was there, yeah.
But it was huge. I mean, it wasn't huge. You could knock it out in like 2 hours, but like there was a whole zone that you could check out. That was literally only the Forbidden Isles came back, but at the time it was like, this is just to introduce you to the storyline of the Drakthir.
But that's not uncommon with a new class, right? DK's had that same thing.
But they didn't give us a new class, a new race, a new nothing. So what are we getting instead?
Well, no, what I'm saying is that the expectation would be that we would get, I'm not saying nothing, but we wouldn't get a new zone. We wouldn't get, like a new race. The same kind of experience.
If we're not getting a new race, a new class.
Dirty Dwarf.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't have that yet. We don't have that yet.
Alliance and Horde, by the way, it's the same.
If we're not getting a new race,
is that launching with
class?
11.0.2? Or maybe not.
Dirty Dwarfs?
Yeah, I thought they might launch next week, but I doubt it. They probably wait till the
No, I think it's expansion launch.
Yeah.
Well, the point I was trying
Scrap's credit would be, why can't we start leveling those now?
No, yeah. The point that I was trying to get to is that the reason this pre-patch feels very lackluster is because like we're getting hero talents. Okay, I mean they revamped talents in Dragonflight, but that wasn't like the main shtick. The pre-patch event, we got a new race, a new class, a new zone. Here we're not getting anything, and we're not gonna get a new race, a new class. So what are we getting? What are we getting?
I don't think there's a precedent though that says that, like, okay, so for example, no, we got a new class with Legion. Battle for Azeroth, right? We had the scenario, I think, where we attack Undercity was the pre-launch event. Now, granted, that I think launched 3 weeks or so before the expansion launched, but it was also like the only thing that they were kind of building to. I think they're wanting to keep something secret because we know something that happens that leads us to Khazalgar or whatever the place is called. We know for the most part what happens, but there might be more to that story than we realize. And I'm pretty sure I saw in the PTR that they data mined some of it. But of course, it's not the same thing as like attacking Undercity or whatever it was. So yeah, I mean, there's no precedent to say that if there's no new class or no new zone that goes along with that new class, that they would give us something instead. I don't think that's necessarily the expectation. What I'm saying though is like the story build up, even the pre-patch event, while they did make some really good changes to it that makes it better, it, you know, once you hit 70 or once you get some of the gear that you wanted from it, it's no longer.
Well, the pre-patch event was, I mean, it was a glorified just like level farm.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't anything to it. There wasn't really much story to it.
Or, you know, the logic of the story
nothing.
wasn't really there.
No, yeah, and it was literally
was
just
trying to tell us something.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about this week after week after week. Like, why does this expansion feel like it's falling flat before it's even started? And this is another kind of like something to stack on top of it. The pre-patch event is lackluster.
Do you think that they're not as much stuff from pre-patch because they're really holding back, and like when it comes out, they're like,
do I hope that? Yes. Do I think that? No.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of saying to everything, like the fucking load screen and stuff. It's like, well, it's probably gonna open up and explode. I mean, we're giving them credit for stuff that they're maybe not gonna do.
Well,
can I bring up a subject right quick?
Well, if it's changing subject, let me just make my point real quick.
Yeah.
I to your point, this is the first time of all those things you guys have complained about where I'd say, okay, there is merit, in my opinion, of course, that this is a lackluster launch, which could be part of the reason why the hype is not quite there. Now, I also believe there isn't going to be any surprises or anything crazy that would launch that we wouldn't expect to see in a expansion launch, which might be obviously a letdown. But I am also not seeing a lot of the people we play with really seem to care about the event. Like, no one's mentioned it. Like, where the hell? Like, I'm the first, I think, to say, where's that next quest? So maybe they're just like taking like they don't really engage with it anyways. Let's, you know, we'll give them the 2D animations. We'll give them the cinematics. We'll, you know, invest in that instead. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just my question was like, is it because they just see no one engaging with it past a certain point, or, you know, it's just like too much effort to give them something that's not really going to get a lot of
I've said this
return.
before as well, but it is a snake eating its tail. It's like, if they don't put a lot of time into it, I don't want to do it. Like, I'm somebody who enjoys engaging with quests and storyline and stuff, and I'm not even finished with that short quest line because it hasn't been a priority. I'm like, I've heard it's short. I could just do it whenever. I've done some of the pre-patch stuff, like leveling my character, but like, if they don't invest in a good story, a good quest line, then I don't want to invest in it either. You know? And then they're like, oh, well, nobody's doing it. It's like, well, nobody's doing it because it's bad.
All right.
Not because they don't want to engage with it.
So I was going to go a little off the rails, not uncommon for me. And as I do this, I want to thank Stratus Racer for his comment 2 days ago that says, the more I listen to this podcast, the more I hate this Tekniq guy. And that's fine, dude. I appreciate your input. So I'm going to go off the rails here.
Hold on. Before you do, hold on. Before you do. Sorry, Tekniq. I had to cut us there for a second due to technical difficulty. You were trying to say a point here, and I'll go on and let you take back over. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no good. No problem. So I was thanking Stratus Racer in our comments from last week's video for pointing out how much he hates me. That's totally fine.
Stratus Racer 69. Yep, okay.
Awesome name.
I don't think the 69 is in there. I think it's just...
Just like 69. Okay, never mind. I take it back.
So anyway, so my next comment is, I'm questioning you guys. Have you seen the video by a YouTube guy named Jimmy who says, I never play WoW, so I tried them all a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think we talked about it on the podcast.
We did talk about it.
And then there's another video from a guy named like Big Boss or Boss guy about why Blizzard is worse than we thought. Like, Blizzard is so bad. Anybody seen that video?
No.
I have not, but it's hard for me when you say Blizzard so bad. I definitely think some of the stuff they do with like their mobile games and like Overwatch and stuff is negative.
Ever since Activision, right?
Yeah.
And Activision then made a deal with Vivendi, and Bobby Kotick got his greedy fucking hands involved.
Okay.
This whole ship has been sinking, and you know, this is going to be a very short version of what these videos would explain. And you know, Mr. Jimmy here, who again, he's a player of another game. What was it?
I think it was RuneScape.
RuneScape, a classic, you know, RuneScape player, had never played WoW before, so he tried all of them. And lo and behold, you know, he enjoyed Classic, I think, the most because, hey, it gives you some time to like observe the world and play your character and learn to play it with time and not just thrust into it with a tutorial. which is what kind of the new current is. Anyway, old school game, you play the game and you enjoy the game until the end of the game. And then if you're good and you want to, you can play the end of the game. New game, new retail version, thrust through at 1,000,000 miles an hour the actual leveling experience and the actual, like, the part of the game that makes you love it, and you're rushed into the end game to just grind that shit and fall into the addictive loop of Mythic Plus and rating.
Mhm.
So anyway, all that to say, I feel like Blizzard's strategy is not to get us with story and pre-patch and all this shit that we actually care about. Blizzard's strategy is to bait and switch and get our money, and that's basically it anymore. And it's kind of sad because I love Blizzard of old, but I think it's true.
I have sad announcements to make. Like, really, as much as I do all the quests and everything, I don't care. I don't care about the story anymore. I stopped caring a long time ago. Yeah. I even when I cared, I didn't really care, and it was only because I had nothing else to do. I'm super happy now at the other end of the game where it's just like grind, IO, raid. I could care. Like, I'm just going through the quests to get to the end. That's just me. But like, I enjoy the game. But like, a lot of stuff, I'm like, how's this help me get new gear? It doesn't. I'm just head down going through it. I'll do them all because I want the achievement. But yeah.
I mean, I think yeah. Finish your thought.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, I get Tekniq's point, but I think a lot of people, it doesn't surprise me that someone's played RuneScape forever. Is like, I love classic WoW.
That's
and
true.
They don't like the current thing.
I don't want to minimize that to just him being a RuneScape player and he likes classic, of course, like duh. I'm thinking, dude, any player coming to a game right now to World of Warcraft, one of the points that he made is like his very first experience in classic, there are other players and you're having conversations with them in the world of Warcraft. It's an MMO. When you play retail and you level, you can go from 1 to 70 and you very likely will not speak to or interact with one other player at all, ever. Because you just don't need to.
That's what the average current new gamer that they're trying to get wants now.
Beyond that,
I think someone's pushing that agenda on the community. I can't imagine.
What are you think they're purposely trying to make it so you don't talk to people?
I think they're purposely trying to make it so that players rush to the end game and they're forced into this cyclical gameplay.
The addictive loop is where they make the money
for financial benefit.
Of course they are. They're a company for profit. What would you expect?
I would also
what
say
made the game the most profitable MMO in the world.
I like this game better than I like that game.
Okay, so I'm going to agree with what Chanee said earlier in retort to what I was saying. Yeah, I'm almost 40 years old. I don't have 6-8 hours a day to play.
To not level, because you made it
undivided attention.
30% in.
Do I have that kind of time? Do I spend that kind of time? Yeah. But do I dedicate, that kind of time? No. I'm going to get up at any time, and that's definitely a different part of my life. But
younger people are also playing quicker games. Also, like they want quicker. Like, I mean, even older people I know who like go into Diablo, they're like, "Oh God, I don't want to level." Like, they want everything to be quicker. They're like, "How quick can I level?"
Yeah, I hated re-leveling in Diablo in Season 1, and I hear they made it like 10 times faster, and I still am like, ugh.
Yeah,
I'm going to disagree with that personally, but that's
sure.
okay.
But that's the point, isn't it?
I'm saying more so now. That is what people actually want. That's why phone games people play so many phone games because they're like they don't take the time that we did when we were younger. And I'm not saying everyone, but like even new games coming out, like single player games and stuff typically are shorter.
No, but let's look at Fellowship. Did you guys see Fellowship, the announcement?
No.
So Fellowship is a new game that's coming out that is effectively
right?
No, it's effectively M+.
Sorry, just Mythic Plus.
Just Mythic Plus, right? You have a choice to do like a timed version of it where it's like you have 30 minutes to get it done in a nutshell, or you have like a more casual version of it where it's like 10 minutes to do the dungeon, right? And the dungeon's easier. And they'll have leaderboards and all that stuff, but they have no leveling. They have, like, you just get your tune and you go. There will be, I think, gearing, but yeah, like it's supposed to be just Mythic Plus in a package of its own.
I'll be interested to see the success of that
I
game
think
because I
I'll
do
try
feel
it,
like
yeah.
that is where WoW is trying to go. Like, I definitely think the classic experience and the current experience, as somebody who is not ashamed to say that I enjoy the addictive gameplay loop at the end game, like that's what I spend most of my time doing, but it scratches an extremely different itch than classic does for me and did for me when I was a kid.
If you
You
had
know?
to choose, gun to your head, classic or retail.
Retail.
Okay, hold on. That's an unfair question because Classic's 20 years old.
But that's the
But
point
if
I'm
there
trying
was-
to make, is that there's so many different choices now. You can do all of it.
Well, if you're packaging all of Classic with its 20-year-old graphics and
I'm not-
pace and repeating Frostbolt on a mage, and that's the only skill you have to use.
I also
like,
think that's
Then
like
why are we having nostalgia for it?
it's Frank.
Well,
Like it's
here's
I think
the
it's like
point.
saying you have to pick between like okay, Breath of the Wild and Candy Crush. Like, let's say you're into Candy Crush.
That's
it's like,
a little more egregious of a choice, but okay.
well, I don't
No,
think so.
I think it's very similar.
It's similar
It's
Not even
because
the
it's
same
like,
game, but
okay, I don't know what mobile games you play, but like tons of fucking people play Candy Crush, right? Like, and people enjoy it, spend hours and hours and tons of fucking money on playing Candy Crush. But does it substitute for a game like Breath of the Wild? It doesn't. They're like completely different things. Like, but people probably like the average person probably spends more time playing a mobile game than like sitting down at a computer and playing it like a story-based game.
Are you saying that retail's like Candy Crush?
Yes, yes, it is.
absolutely
No.
is, dude.
It has an
No.
addictive
And I'm gonna-
gameplay loop.
I'm going to go into why.
Yes.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Okay, is Dota like Candy Crush?
I don't know anything about Dota.
No, because it's
League of Legends. Let's just say
it's competitive
Oh, League of
play
Legends
versus other players. It's
Yeah,
ever
it's a
changing.
PvP game.
So
it's
you have,
different. It's more
PV,
like
you have,
Call-
you have PvP
Call of
in
Duty.
retail,
Yeah, but we don't
if that's
play
what you're doing.
and you have
retail.
leaderboards.
So anyway, so the point, like one of the biggest points.
Chanee,
of,
am I
like,
losing my
Jimmy's
fucking
video-
mind?
you are 100% losing your mind.
No,
They're
Frank,
like-
hold on. No, I'm with Tekniq on this because we're not talking because there is still that leveling game, and there's like obviously like we always kind of gloss over the people who just do the story, do the collections, do the achievement, do the pet battles, and all that stuff. That's a totally different gameplay loop than we engage in. PvP is a totally different gameplay loop than we engage in. The gameplay loop that we engage in, rating and Mythic Plus, is an addictive gameplay loop. Like,
So it's PvP.
And I'm not going to say I dislike it because obviously
Sure,
I'm
I
sitting here
can't speak on
playing
that.
it. Like
Yeah,
I
I like
definitely
it, yeah.
love playing Mythics with you guys and doing raids twice a week.
Yeah.
Okay, give me
But-
the one sentence.
and-
This is my point.
Okay, let me think it out
I wanna
then,
hear
since
it,
you're going to
please.
limit me to one sentence.
Wait, before he says it, I would like to say there's a ton of addictive gameplay loops within WoW. Like people that just farm, people that just do the auction
were-
house. Like
no,
there's
that's not
people that-
necessarily
Classic
a
had
negative
that
thing.
somewhat loop because of rating,
think-
because of dungeons.
I think the
It's
point,
not
if I-
necessarily a negative thing, like an addictive gameplay.
I'm not
loop.
saying it is.
Inherently,
I'm not
no,
saying it
I
is.
think you're misinterpreting that.
It's
we're
not Candy
saying
Crush
it
though.
is.
I'm just saying there's a lot of WoW that can be, and I just feel like saying
I wish
using
like they
Candy
could.
Crush was insane.
I
Because
wish it
like
could
we're
be
talking
both.
about WoW and WoW.
Oh my
You know, I
Can
wish
be
it
both.
could find the balance
I-
between both. But the point I'm making is a point that Jimmy made in his video about his opinion on, because again, he played Classic to max and then he played Retail to nearly max. And his biggest point was like, when you're leveling in Classic, every single decision you make is relevant and important, and you feel this like, hey, I have X amount of gold to spend. Hey, I have X amount of bag space to play with. Hey, my skill, I have resources that matter. You know, every number in every drop and every reward that you get is kind of, it's a good feeling when you get even just the minimal upgrade, because you know that it's going to make you stronger. But in the current game, as you level, your world is kind of paired to your character. I couldn't die if I wanted to in Retail. There's zero
I
challenge.
died 4 times leveling my
100%
warlock.
Yeah.
You are
Well, I
way
wouldn't-
worse
I
at the
wouldn't
game than I
admit
am.
to that.
Frank.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's not the fucking
You-
point, though,
wait,
is it?
No,
No,
Tekniq,
the point
you
is-
level as a warrior. I'd like to point that out. You're leveling as a tank, so dying for you should be
That's
harder
fair.
than the average
But-
person.
But when you level in Retail WoW, if I'm 70, everything around me is 70. When I hit 71, boom, everything around me is 71.
Tekniq.
Like,
Part of the
that's-
reason why that's the case is because when you played Classic, you weren't as good of a WoW player as you are now.
No.
If Whistle
you can
goes
go
out
back to
and
WoW
levels,
and you-
is he going
and
to
you-
die?
And you pop around to a different zone and you see things that are 40 levels higher than you, get a skull and they're super scary and they one shot you, like that's, I think,
but that game doesn't exist anymore because they can't make a new WoW every expansion, or else we'd be waiting 10 years. We don't want that.
That makes any sense. Okay,
I don't know.
so the whole,
I can want that.
I think the
you want to wait
point I
10
was trying to
years
make
for
is
every
just that-
expansion?
On a good game, I would wait 10 years.
God.
I've done
Yeah.
that before.
All
I
right.
get what you're saying, Tekniq. I think a lot of those things have changed because people wanted them to
Yes,
change.
exactly.
I would say that's the bigger thing. Like, I get what you're saying. But I'd say
I
a lot
want
of
to
the
play
changes
alts because I don't want to spend 60 years leveling.
Here's the one thing that I don't have at my disposal that obviously the bigwigs at Blizzard do, and that's all of the metrics and numbers that they would claim to say. But I can't imagine that this
Okay.
game is more rewarding to play than Classic was for us leveling it. This game,
I can
right,
tell you this game is
I think
more
it's
rewarding for me
different.
to play.
it's a different version of rewarding. IO is my
Yeah.
new reward.
It respects my time, right? I can actually hit gear cap.
Okay.
I can challenge myself in dungeons after a little while because the gear score actually doesn't necessarily like if I were to play Sholomance in a classic after I've done Blackwing Lair, right? There is no challenge left. It's now diluted. That isn't a problem in this version of the game. I'm not saying people who like classic are wrong. I'm just saying I don't understand where this logic of
I didn't mean to make
they're
this like a classic
purposely-
versus retail thing.
No,
I
but
meant
they're
to say the
purposely
entire
trying to
objective
make like the
was to
WoW.
say that-
Like, I mean, first off, every game is doing the seasonal thing, right? This is not exclusive to Blizzard. Fortnite probably made it the most popular on its own, right?
Yeah,
Blizzard's
or
literally
PUBG,
just
whatever, you know?
following the mentality of, hey, let's let everyone access this game, make
Yeah.
it easy so that everyone can play the game, and then sell them hats.
Okay, I don't have an issue
Easy-ish.
with that. I want to
And
say
that's
I'm mostly
okay.
with
Easy-ish,
Tekniq,
'cause if-
but not on that.
because like
Sell them
none of us are
hats.
doing.
That's,
None of us are
what's
getting
the
cutting
profit
edge.
line and Activision Blizzard, whatever, of hats?
I think you know what I'm generalizing. This is a meme
Please,
from Valve.
let's be more specific.
Transmogs, sell them fucking stuff that is free to make,
But it's
and
not exclusive
expensive
to
buy.
WoW.
I
It's
know
just
that.
a model.
And I would say of all the Blizzard games, WoW is the least guilty of
You pay
monetizing.
$15 a month to play it, and
Besides
then
the
they give you all
subscription.
this.
Look,
Yeah, and honestly, to be
subscription
fair,
though is an archaic thing. We could talk about that, and I don't have an argument to defend.
People are going to
subscription
keep, as long as people are paying it, they
Yes.
can charge it. So
Anyway,
I
The
don't have
logic
any
is that
issue
we're
with
going to
say,
get our content faster because we're paying for it.
I
but
hope that
is that
I hope
fair?
that the next experience of leveling and story that we get is good. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, next.
Oh, I agree with. Was that the point? Because I do too. I
Um,
hope that too.
Long story short, yeah.
Scrap, did you
I've
think
said
the
this. I've said
Dragonflight-
this for the last 3 episodes. I don't want to pop into the expansion and be 80 in a day and be like, okay, back to the grind,
But
so I
that's-
can pay for
But
hats.
that's
You have
because
complete
you would be
control
the
over
person
that.
that does that, not the game. Scrap won't hit
No, dude,
80 in a day.
I'm not going to
Well-
log in and play for 8 hours straight. That's not what I'm going to do.
Well, then you won't hit 80.
Yes.
We'll see.
Scrap, did you think the Dragonflight leveling story and experience was better or worse than
I
you
liked
expected?
it.
So
Oh,
why are we complaining about it?
Hold on now. Hold on. I'm not
This is
I'm not
awesome.
I thought
complaining.
this was going to be a
I'm
short
not
episode.
complaining.
It
I was,
was
yeah, I was
until
gonna
you
do a
guys-
short
Gotta be.
episode. Look, I'm not complaining. Like I said, I enjoy the end game loop. Like I play it. I love doing Mythic
And I'm not
Plus.
saying I don't.
recognize, and I don't disparage people who like Candy Crush, and I
my
recognize
God.
that's a similar sort of vibe.
I think that's what set me
Um,
over the edge was the Candy Crush analogy.
It's so.
I'm not
The
fucking
stupidest
wrong, dude.
fucking
It's
thing
like-
I
I
heard.
think you are.
I
You're
agree.
like
I'm not
using one
wrong.
part of this idea that Candy Crush makes you pay for things to win.
No,
and
that's
which
not
by
what
the
I'm
way
saying
isn't no
about
thing
Candy
in
Crush.
WoW.
Okay, sorry. What I'm trying to say with Candy Crush is that it's like it's got an addictive gameplay loop that you can play endlessly, indefinitely. Same with kind of WoW Mythic Plus. You can just play it forever. You can do the same thing over and over and over again. That's kind of what I was comparing, as opposed to like an
is-
Elden Ring or something, like a single player game where you like play it and then you get to the end and then you're done with it.
But
Candy
Elden
Crush, you don't
Ring
get
is
to the end of it.
not the norm. That's the
Elden Ring
point.
Has a new
No, okay,
game
but Elden Ring,
plus.
Tears of the Kingdom, any kind of single player game.
No, but that's
you
my
play
point.
it,
Madden,
it ends.
Call of Duty, Battlefield, all those games are the exact same loop. Why is Candy Crush your go-to?
It's also Candy Crush because I know that it would reach you.
All right.
I knew it would
I think
reach
we've harped
you.
too long. Shawnee, you were supposed to tell me
Not
I'm an
too
idiot.
long.
Yes.
Frank,
Um,
let's move this on.
Yeah, I will just accept defeat and say that I must be the
No.
out of the norm.
No, you're not.
Okay.
I'm so on your
News.
side. I can't wait for the comments on this.
Beta has gone
Even
into
halfway through the news.
no news. I was just saying news flash. Beta has gone into
Okay.
the release
We'll one
candidate.
off on this later.
Okay,
What
we'll
that
off on it.
means,
You're gonna
what
get 3
that
hours later.
motherfuckers. What that means is that we will no longer get patches. We only get hot fixes. But as I said last
Our
week, they
own
are doing some
podcast.
changes to the dungeons. They are adjusting timers. And for example, I don't know. This is something I need to go and test because I haven't actually done Siege of Borealis yet. But it looks like they're not going to have tentacles spawning endlessly anymore. They're just going to say you have to kill
Nice.
2 tentacles and then the cannon will be fixed. Which is
Did they get rid of the shark in Siege of Borealis?
that's the thing you're worried about. The shark.
That's the thing I died to a lot.
I don't know if this is true, but that's how I read this, so I'm very curious to see if that's the case.
One shark if you go left. Is that right?
No, if you stand in the water,
if you fall in the water,
you have to get
die.
out within like 4 seconds, or else you get eaten by a shark.
Yeah, a shark gets. I don't remember a lot from Siege, so.
But they're
all I
again
remember.
tuning some more. I did a run on the beta this week for Keystone Kindergarten, which we'll talk about in a second. But it felt a lot better. The key. It took me like 17 runs of Stonevault to discover how a mechanic worked, which was great because now I can actually write the guide to it. But that was nice to see. But yeah, I mean, like,
When are these guides coming out, Frank? You don't have a
we'll
lot
talk
of time.
about actually here. We'll just talk about it now. So
Yeah,
I
let's
do
do it
wanted to.
now.
I wanted to plead to the masses that okay, for those who don't know, Keystone Kindergarten is our video series explaining how dungeons work. We're not going to try to tell you about like routes. We're not going to try to tell you about like strategies of how to either cheese or get the most out of a boss fight. The goal of the Keystone Kindergarten, which is why it's called Kindergarten, is we just want to teach you what everything does in the dungeon so that you get to like kind of see it for yourself before you go in there and say, well, what the hell is that thing that just killed me? Because now you understand it was a mass AoE that you had to interrupt and no one interrupted it, right? So we're going to come out. I'm doing City of Threads first. I'm going to come out with them hopefully all before the expansion launches. But before I do, I just wanted to ask anyone in the comments to tell us if there's anything they'd look for in that kind of video series, anything that I can add. You can go back and look at our older stuff from, I think I did some for season 2 of Dragonflight. That's where I kind of like really got into it.
Shadowlands too, didn't you?
We did
Yeah.
we did Tazavesh for Shadowlands, but it actually fell apart because like remember Shadowlands the Tazavesh was so bugged. I just couldn't keep going with it. Yeah, so we did do like again, we started it in Shadowlands, but it wasn't what it is now. Shawnee, you were gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say I thought we did some in like Shadowlands. It wasn't Tazavesh. It was like some other ones that were.
We did Halls
I
of
was like,
Atonement.
Shadowlands, what we did was we just ran it together and we were trying to talk. It was like a podcast in the middle of the run.
Oh,
But the
Yeah,
problem
that makes sense.
yeah.
the problem
okay.
was either things were happening so fast that we're just like not even
You're
talking
killing
about it.
things so fast. Yeah. I remember.
Or we'd go on a tangent like we just did and then be like, oh wait, we're supposed to be telling people this is what we need to interrupt, So
yeah, but
we
now
threw
you have
that
it like
away.
a tighter video.
Yeah, much
So-
cleaner system. The intent is for those of you that like, well, I mean, you'll see videos from like Quasi is a good example. He does a phenomenal
Or
job.
Hazelnutty.
Or Hazelnut. I don't know if she does dungeons,
That's
but she
who I
definitely does
watch.
raids. But like they'll do a great job of explaining a lot more intricate things. My goal with these videos is just to say like, hey, this is a spell that you should pay attention to, and here's why. And you can then decide for yourself how you want to juggle everything. So again, in the comments, please put anything you'd want to see out of that video if we don't already have them. We'd love to hear your feedback. Again, the Mythic Plus dungeons are seeing some significant tuning, including timing adjustments. Necrotic Wake dropped down from 36 to 32 minutes. It must be getting easier.
Ooh. Nice.
I'm
I'm excited to see Necrotic Wake some more, dude. I loved that
Yeah.
dungeon. I do.
I kind of miss it now.
I'm excited to play it.
But yeah, I'm not going to go through all these because again, they're going to change probably 10 times more. But as I mentioned earlier, you're not going to see patches anymore. You're just going to see hot fixes. I hate when they do hot fixes because, like, for example, stuff like this where it says like multiplier, and I know this is a PvP one, but they've done it for other things. I don't know if that necessarily means it is a true nerf. Like, it looks like it's going from 1 to 1/2. That does sound like a
Yeah.
nerf, but I don't know if it actually is because I need the blue post to spell it out for me. But you will see these, and you'll see them throughout the day. There's like, I think 3 in a single day. So, keep an eye out for those. I can't really say that we will cover them definitively now that they're not, cleaned up in a list. But
we
it
don't really
does-
cover him that much aside from
warrior.
scroll down to the warrior.
I was trying to
That's
do
the
better. I
only
was trying to do
coverage
better
there.
as of like last week. I was researching them much more before the episode, but now they've gone to release candidate. But again, I just wanted to point out that we're getting close. The tuning's getting close. It's better than it
Scroll
was
down.
a week ago. What do you
Scroll down to warriors. Well, the way I feel about this is y'all know your classes better than we
Yeah.
can tell you about it.
Well,
Like
no,
we
I
know
don't.
our classes and stuff.
Nothing for
So
warrior.
we're just telling you to look at it. You guys go
No,
look at it.
I don't even think
the
that's true though,
news.
because I don't know the. I mean, yes, I do a little bit, but
This
like
is
I wouldn't know
bullshit, man.
too much to know for certain if some things are like clearly a buff or not, because they'll say
Well,
one thing's
yeah.
up and one thing's down. And it's like, well, hold on a second.
Dude,
But,
I live my life not knowing. I just let it happen. Like, and
well,
I complain
I would
about it.
encourage that you just play what you want to play, right? Like if you're vibing with
that's how we
survival,
roll.
if
You
you're
have a
vibing with
401k?
Frost,
Yeah, of course I do.
Can I
Okay, so you're not just
say
living
something
on the
about
edge.
tier
then.
lists in general?
What in general?
Just tier lists and the idea of it and everything and metas and stuff is like, it's always frustrated me, and I'm always been like, say Shadow is top, right, for DPS, and it's doing just a random number of like 1 million. Whatever's at the bottom is typically like 930,000. Like it's never
Yeah.
this like
well,
ginormous.
that's not
Not
on raid.
always,
Yes,
no.
in raid, yes,
You're-
not in Mythic
you
Plus.
are
I don't
right.
think.
I'm just
I think
saying,
it's
like
generally
typically
correct. It's close, but-
speaking, it's all so close, and if you play it well, you're gonna do well, I think. And it's always just drove me when people are like, "Oh, the spec's top," and I'm like, "It's top by like a hair." Like
Arcane would have been like bottom F tier, right? But I could still do at the time 23s. It's like it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not
Fine.
it's not meta, but like 99.9% of us aren't even playing that game anyway. So what the fuck are you worried about?
Yeah.
And
It's
all
just-
that shit. And choosing
I've
your
never-
class off of tier list is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Anyway, it's just always been like contention for me when people start going on about like the tier list and they're like, "Oh, like destruction's crap." I'm like, "Well, then maybe you're crap at destruction. Maybe it's not destruction."
Yeah. Like I'm not picking Arcane because it's spot on the tier list. I'm picking because I think they made such good changes to the way the class plays that now I'm like, okay, I want to main it and I want to. And not
Wait,
to
why'd
mention,
you pick it in Dragonflight then?
why did I or didn't I?
Yeah, why did you?
Well, I always loved Arcane, but I
Well, there you go.
remember. You remember
just-
Scrap?
yeah.
I wanted to quit Arcane at season 1
I know,
especially
trust me,
because
I
they made
fucking
it way
remember.
too complicated. And then they cleaned it up a little bit. They cleaned it up a little bit more, and all that stuff. And so it's been getting better and better and better. And now it just looks so much better. Like you have orbs flying out of you at every millisecond. But
Yeah.
I asked you guys last
Yeah.
week. We didn't talk about it on the podcast, but I asked you guys last week after the podcast to listen to some of the new music that was placed into the beta.
Yeah.
Scrap, you've definitely listened to it. I know that for sure. What did you
I
think?
listened to a lot of it, but I didn't finish the whole thing. The main title theme is awesome. I love how many different themes it tosses in there. Like, I know
Mhm.
that they always do that, but like, I was listening to it, I was like, oh, this song's great. Let me check it out. And it was like, oh, it's still the main title theme. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And I'd be like, oh, wait, it's still the main title theme. Like, there's a lot of good stuff in there. I thought it was cool. I think my favorites I listened to was the in music. Like, there's like a Hallowfall in, and then there's another in, and I just love. I think they really
The
nailed
vibe.
it. Yeah, they always nail the in music, but like these ones are really good. The raid music was sick. I like the Illyria theme and the Zalatath theme.
Illyria theme was really good.
fun. I thought the Zalatath theme was hype.
That was probably my
Like,
least favorite.
rounds
But
of it's not like a casual listen,
yeah,
but like as far as like a memorable piece of music, like the rounds of strings and stuff, it's like, dude, this is some scary shit. Like I wouldn't like casually listen to it, but I think it nailed the vibe. So that's
Sean,
my.
I wish
review.
I wish I had heard your request to listen to this music because I didn't.
He only
but
said
I'd
it
like
about
to.
25 times, but
He even wrote it in Discord.
yeah.
To me.
All of us.
Yep.
I think I even added you
Yeah.
specifically and said, "Hey, by the way, read what I just said."
Everybody.
Oh shit! I missed that, dude.
Okay, we'll
The-
hear your review
Shawnee, do you-
next week then.
Yeah, Shawnee, did you listen?
I did, and full transparency, I was like, "Oh, this is great," and that's the only time I'll hear it because when I play WoW, I don't have music like the
Aw,
game in-game
dude.
music on. I have my own music on, so
Would
yeah.
I love the
you-
in-game music.
Would you turn it
Scrap
back
Jack
on
in the
based on what you
background, can't
felt?
turn the
Like,
music on?
even if it wasn't permanently, would you say like, "Oh, while I'm leveling, I'll listen to it," kind of thing, because of how good it was?
yeah, I would say it's good enough to listen to, like to make an effort to. I'm not gonna, but it was good.
Okay.
Yeah, and on that note, I like to level by myself. Like I
Me
don't.
too.
I want to go. I want to turn you guys off. I'm going to listen to the music and listen to the NPCs and level.
See,
Oh.
that's what you do. You root
What's the
community.
add-on
Wow.
that you have that has the AI read you the quest? Are you gonna turn that
I'll
on?
use that for classic, but it's called voiceover.
You're
That's
not gonna
so
turn it
fun.
on to immerse yourself in the story that you want so badly out of this?
No, but a lot of times in retail,
I
a lot of times in
think
retail
by now
they'll
they're
have,
doing it. Yeah.
yeah, they basically do. Is that like you know they'll have like a long quest thing, but once you like accept it, the guy will tell you just like a one sentence of like, here's
Yeah,
what
but
I
it's
want
not
you
the
to do.
same.
You know,
You got
it's
you
not
got to
the
read the
same, but
quest.
I think it's a good in between for like, you know, they're like, okay, people don't read the quest again. It's that cyclical, like, you know, it's not good content, so people aren't reading it, blah blah blah. But if they're acknowledging that people aren't reading the quest, it's like, okay, let's just have Khadgar say, thanks for like agreeing to go out
Champion, you're
and
so
take
good
the
at
Illyria.
portaling. Thank you.
Yeah, no, there will be like a paragraph that some quest writer wrote, a beautiful paragraph, and nobody will ever read. But thank God Khadgar is just reiterating, like, oh, thanks for accepting this quest to go see Illyria. Thumbs up.
Now let's go
Okay.
kill Hogger.
Yeah.
Raise,
So I do
who
like
reads
that.
the quests on the first go round?
Oh, I absolutely do.
I actually do.
don't.
I do.
Yeah.
A lot of
Okay.
the times.
I'm looking forward
maybe
to it.
I
And by the
don't
way, I'll
read
remind
them,
you
but I'll
guys.
voice over him.
I'll warn you now that you need to pay attention because we'll have a trivia at some point.
Oh yeah.
I'll
To-
lose.
Well, there'll be other things. You can at least remember the map, right, Chanee? That'll help you out.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're a reigning champ from last time, so
Yep.
From trivia?
Yep.
I
No
don't
fucking
remember.
way.
Yep.
him and
Then who won the
Haywire
trivia?
tied, and then he
I
won the tiebreaker.
Oh,
I think.
Haywire. Yeah.
Haywire? He's
Haywire
only
tied
leveled
me.
every quest 15 times.
And he
Yeah.
lost to the guy who doesn't read quests.
Yeah, there you go.
Reading
Fox
is not
Tangent won that shit,
fundamental.
man.
So my review of this, I don't want to speak too highly of it, but I genuinely think this is one of the best I've ever heard. It is
I don't know
so
about that, but
so
it's good.
good. I'm literally humming it like when I'm walking around the house.
Yeah, which one?
Which
one?
Like,
Yeah.
and I
Which one?
What,
The opening screen.
the opening, the
Yeah.
main full title
full?
just goes fucking.
The
like,
beginning
in.
part, honestly, is super fucking catchy.
Yeah.
It's really simple, but I totally am with you. That bit is stuck in my head.
It's so good.
Like-
And it
Let's
makes
listen
me
to it.
want
Can
to
you
turn
just
the
play it?
music on to play.
You
Like,
gotta, when you open WoW, it's what's playing.
yeah, the
Yeah,
the
just
title
play it.
screen.
Go ahead and play it for the.
No,
you
because
just heard
I-
him hum it.
No, but even if I
Like-
did, it's 16 minutes long. I'm not going to jump
just want
around on the
I just
podcast
want
with
the
a bunch of
part that
random music
you
playing.
I just want
I
to
don't have
compare
it queued
your.
up. Go do your homework like we asked you to.
It's
No,
right
Frank,
there. Press
just
the
hum
button.
it again.
Going-
I
No,
just want
I'm
the.
not.
Don't
that
do it.
part. I
No.
want that part.
You
I
got
refuse
it. That
to.
was
Give
it.
in to him.
That's it. You fucking
That was
crushed
it,
it.
Tekniq. You killed it.
I'm super hyped because of this music. This music probably did single-handedly hype me the most for the expansion. That's
Yeah,
the
I
best.
was supposed to. I want to make a slight retraction. Not that I don't know that everybody's like backwatch these and stuff, but I was talking about like the music of Dragonflight was not that great in my mind, but
Mhm.
I've been kind of just doing like some cleanup quests and things like that, and I totally retract that. The music of Dragonflight is fucking awesome.
It is.
Like
It
every
is.
zone music is awesome.
But I think this
It's
is better.
great.
It's-
I don't know. I haven't really seen it like paired with the environments and like with the characters and how they use it, and I think that's a big part of my enjoyment of it. But just at base level, just as like a casual listening while I do stuff, play video games or whatever, it's great. You know, they didn't miss with this. They nailed it. So I'm happy.
Well, I'm
so
going to move
glad
on
their
to.
bands are still good.
Oh, they
The
you
orchestra.
gotta listen to it.
The
They have like
bands.
tons of choral
I'm go-
segments.
I'm-
Level
absolutely going to. I
70
can't wait.
torn. Sick.
Yeah.
I wish we had been asked to do this last week. I would have done it last week.
Yeah,
That's all
if
right.
only somebody asked you to do it.
Tekniq was so proud that he listened to like all the podcasts this week that he was like, I'm so prepared to talk about all this stuff.
Frank, can
name
you please
dropping
edit in the message that you sent Tekniq
He said his
of like,
drive too
hey,
much.
can everybody please listen to this?
Sure.
Just edit that in,
Sure.
so we know that he's not bullshitting.
Well, I don't think anyone would question it anyways with Tekniq, but
It's funny
What do you
though.
mean, man? I don't remember any of that.
okay, so I don't have an official
Okay.
question of the week this week, so I was
I
writing it
do.
down. Oh, do you, Chanee?
Oh,
Okay.
Johnny has. a
Yeah, I
question.
got
I'm
one. I thought
surprised.
of. I
Okay.
thought of one for you guys. I want to know what you guys are gonna main, and like in 2 minutes, what you're gonna main and why
Okay.
for the expansion.
Who would you like to
That's
start?
my. I don't need to start. I can.
No, I said who would you want to start?
I want Scrap to start. you know.
Mine's simple. I'm gonna main my hunter. I like maining my hunter at the start of the expansion because I like picking up different pets and vibing with them. Like I like to have a different pet for each area that I find. Yeah, I don't know if I'll stick with it. Well, first raid tier I probably will. But yeah, that's just what I've been playing lately, and I like it, and it's fun.
Okay.
That's it.
Tekniq.
You know I'm going to go Prot Warrior, man. I mean,
it's the only tune he has. How can he main anything else?
I
He
might
has
even
a
play
priest.
arms. I have a priest,
What?
a mage, a warlock, and a monk. And a
You do
death
now
knight.
because you leveled them in remix or whatever.
Yeah,
He had a
but
priest
you know,
for a long time.
I have priest has been my go-to alt for
Didn't even know how to
a few
fear with it.
expansions. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna play Prot Warrior, man.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see the changes. With their shield slam. I'm not very excited about the tier bonuses coming up, but whatever. We'll see how it plays out, man.
Frank, what about you?
So this was a very big decision for me, as you know, because we talked about it in Discord like every day. I would normally level my prop pally because as a raid leader, I like to raid lead from the tank position. However, Lithian, who is a friend of the podcast, and Tekniq have assured me that they can handle tanking on their own. And I told you earlier that Arcane Mage, in my opinion, looks so good that I really want to start kind of getting a little more serious for it. And so I'm going to make my mage my Arcane, my Arcane Mage my main. And I am very anxious because it'll also mean that if I'm not winning the meters, I will be criticized by people like Scrap no matter what. And if I am winning the meters, Scrap will just somehow make a critique about it. I don't think there's any way I can win by playing on my mage. Like, it's just, I don't know why I would, like, I don't enjoy playing with these people.
You don't enjoy playing so hard.
When I'm on my mage. When I'm on my mage, they make me so miserable.
It's because
you're
miserably bad on your mage. And it's more noticeable when you have to look on the damage meter.
Wow.
At least like your warrior or your paladin, it's just me taking threat from you. And
can we call out that last week on Discord, Tekniq said that he had a higher IO score than me, and he still didn't even have that.
Okay, I did, and then you like went into
played
like
the game,
pump it mode for 3 days or whatever you did, and was like,
I went back in time and did.
Let me go get carried
3
through 400 points.
This is okay.
Oh my God.
Chanee, great question. What are you going to be doing?
Well, I was gonna play Outlaw. I was like, this expansion I played a Paladin, and I was like, I gotta go back to a Rogue, and then I played my Rogue for a bit, and I'm like, I really like all the utility of a Ret Paladin, and so I'm gonna play Ret, and I have a secret like dream/wish of like someone coming along and teach me how to play Holy Pally really well.
I'm itching to play Holy too.
Has Frank not done that?
Frank is
Don't talk to Frank about that.
A great person, and if I want to know how to tank on a pally, he would be the person I 100% go to. But for healing, Frank's just too good for me. I want to learn from someone slightly
good. He's relatively good.
I think the fairest thing for me to say, Chanee, is that I'm very critical of seeing things, especially if I'm worried about you. And so maybe I'm not the best person to teach you because I don't want to come off as too aggressive.
I would say the fairest thing is you played it like 2 seasons before I played it, so some things had changed.
Of course.
But, yeah. And I love you. And
you don't want to not love me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Johnny, he's married.
They call me backseat Franking for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's married. I was at his wedding. That's where he met my wife.
3 kids. That's all false.
So it's Tekniq, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rat, I'm really looking forward to it too. I don't care where it falls on the so-called tier list or whatever. I'm just
I don't care how anything falls. If it's fun to play, I enjoy it.
And I'm sure you'll all do very well at it. And if I lose cat fights, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, I'm looking to. I got some personal goals set for this season too, so we'll see how it goes.
What is that goal?
I want to. No, I want to. Usually, you and Scrap like outpace me for IO, and by the end of the season, I want to be looking down on you two.
Should we have a little mini competition of who has the highest IO by season 1?
By the end of
the season?
Yes, of course. Yeah. You have the whole
No,
season.
what about race to 3K? I like
No,
that.
not race to 3K. No.
Oh, you're just mad because I won.
No, you don't sleep.
Have more
Yeah, that's true.
time.
You don't
I
sleep.
want to point out,
I have children.
I
Yeah, I
think
don't.
I think you're absolutely amazing at survival. Like if someone's like, I want to play survival, I'm like,
no,
fuck,
she's
crap.
amazing at leeching off of higher groups.
Wait, she's
talking about? I hope, man.
you are hands
does.
down really good at WoW. I like not taking anything away from you. You also have a slight advantage where you can somehow you're more charming than me or Frank
Somehow.
to people with your funny jokes and your please carry me. And people definitely assist you who are even better than our group of people.
Okay. I did a lot of my 3K in the pugs, so
Uh,
a lot of
You're
it.
gonna get
You
way
can't
more,
see me shaking my
way
head, but I'm
more.
shaking my head because I pulled your IO when you got to, because I was $29.99, and I was like, all right, I'll do it tonight. I guess you
were
heard.
not $29.99.
I was.
You were
I remember.
Like one key behind. You spent
No.
all
Oh my
day
God.
trying to get that couple points, and you fucking failed. I got it in 1 hour, and I've closed the
yeah.
gap.
How did you get
Because
that?
I pugged
Was
it and you
that a pug?
didn't.
No, I pugged it too. Oh my god,
No.
we gotta pull the
No.
numbers. Okay, this race is on, but we had to lay out the
Not the
parameters
3K,
because
it's
I'm gonna
not a race.
smoke your asses.
It is.
We can
no,
have a
it
mini
is
race to
big-
3K, and then we can do who wins the
Yeah,
season.
the 3K,
Yeah.
the 3K. I don't care. It's the long haul where this is endurance race.
I'm
How
gonna
long is
really
season one?
fucking smoke you guys.
Usually it's like
Just
3
a
months,
heads up.
maybe
Scrap.
14
I have
months.
all the
months?
faith that you'll win, but
Yeah.
this is my like.
All right, I'm gonna build
I want to win.
Let's
but I'm
document
not
the whole
letting
thing. We're
anyone
gonna
Well,
take
so if
notes
you're-
along the way.
You're
I'm
trying
build
to
a melee
push
group.
the IO. I know that Frank and I
Tech's
were
gonna
gonna
finish at 2K.
Listen, I know you and Frank
Yeah.
are gonna work together because you always do, and
No,
I
no,
look
no.
from the
Let me
outside. I'm like,
finish my sentence.
where's the
dude.
window?
No, let me
No,
finish
you
my
don't need to.
sentence. While you're pushing IO, Frank and I are working on our 2s team because he wants that transmog for 1800. So
I do.
Right? And I,
We're,
yeah,
we're starting over.
yeah.
Oh,
why
let's
would-
make battle groups then. Battlegrounds.
Yeah,
PvP.
that was
We're
funny
making
too.
That would actually
No,
be a
that
fucking blast.
that technology's dead in the game. You shouldn't play it, right, Tekniq?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can get the mog from rated battlegrounds too, Frank. But we need Chanee to lead it, throw together a group. Remember when that? when
No,
we
I'm
tried to
not.
do
You know
that?
what? I'm telling you, I'm not helping with it.
You also
Frank
have a disadvantage,
asked me-
Chanee, because Diablo's coming out.
That's
Yeah,
all right. I'm still good.
disadvantage. Yeah, and I'll be
Bugs
done with
come out.
Elden Ring by the time it comes out, so it's
I
over
remember
for you.
when Frank asked me in Discord, "Hey, we should do some PvP and scraps." It's like I'll do it with you, and Frank was like, "I don't know who Chanee is
Chanee,
anymore."
I don't want to
It's alright.
I don't want on recorded podcasts to say this, but I will just because I don't want your feelings to be hurt. I
It's
was
alright.
never planning on running the scrap.
Okay,
not,
fine.
Not 2v2s at least.
With
I have room
twos?
for a survival hunter scrap. Don't worry.
Yeah,
With
dude,
the melee
oh,
group.
All right, Chanee. Now we have a new
What?
competition: me and you
Twos?
versus them.
Listen, I think you and me versus them for the bigger twos rating would be
That'd be awesome.
fun
Bigger
thing
That'd
to
be-
do.
that'll be a
Missing
show
a
right there.
very important part that Musham will be in my group.
Oh,
No,
so
no,
scrap
twos
won't be.
rating. We're doing threes? Sick.
No, we're doing
I'm talking
twos.
about the M
It's-
plus.
No, it's okay. Let's do
Oh.
threes. Shawnee, get one of your best PvPers.
Well, you can threes and twos is the same. Yeah.
I feel like threes is a little unfair, but I can make a phone
Threes-
call.
Fuck arenas, dude. I'm not doing arenas. I'm gonna do
No,
battlegrounds.
no, he's
Fuck
already out.
PvPing.
Okay,
Threes
we gotta
are
end this
better than
episode.
twos when I
We
did
now are
it.
officially back in late time.
Yeah,
Um,
because I can let this
well,
go
you knew we
short.
would ramble.
MythicDungeonLeague.com. Come and join our Discord. I've seen people in the comments on YouTube. Remember, MythicDungeonLeague.com. You can follow us on Twitter at League Mythic and Twitch.tv/MDLFrank. Check out our old episodes. Check out our podcast. Check out our MetaMeta, past winners, player bios. It's all there. Okay.
My rabbit's not in the room, or I would have got him to show you guys.
Oh,
He's
the
so ready
Tekniq
to
just
go
shows cat
PvP.
because we didn't see
No,
it
it's
on
dog.
Dog.
Bobby's not in
Aw.
the room, or else I would grab him and be like, "Bobby, look at
camera.
everyone."
Tekniq, last words.
I love you guys, man. I'm sorry that that Blizzard sucks now and Bobby Kodak's a greedy bitch. Good
And then
thing
we had
he's
to
gone.
talk about it.
I don't think Bobby Kodak's even in the building anymore, but okay. Shawnee, last words.
We're still paying for him though.
I can't. That's right. Can't wait for the expansion, and can't wait to win the IO race.
I'm hype now. I'm hype. We got
Yeah.
a PvP race. We got an IO race. We got a leveling
Yep.
race. Teknique's gonna
Yep.
lose them all. Scrapclaw, last words.
I'm gonna demolish you guys in the IO race. 'Cause I can stay up until 5 in the morning every night.
Scrap, I will lose sleep if it means you're going to win. I will do whatever it takes. My children will not see me
last
because
time
of
you
you.
lost sleep, but it didn't help because I could get it done.
If this season falls into, so in November we do the Extra Life Marathon with
we do it all night.
Miracle Network.
Yeah.
If that falls into the season, I'm just going to spend that entire night just getting ahead of you.
You can't. What about our Minecraft hour?
Fine. Well, 1 hour to Minecraft, 23 hours to do this.
That's hour. Look forward to it all year. The Minecraft hour.
I appreciate for everyone hanging around for Around the Mage Table, episode 19, the podcast for the rest of us. We will probably have one more week of a podcast, and then there's a lot of traveling from my end, which I'm the one that records everything, so that'll be difficult. I will try to do remote episodes if possible, but I'm not certain how they look. But you'll at least have one more episode next week to be sure of. And then other than that, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all then. Take care.